Hi there YouTube, welcome to my vlog on a very freezing cold late February morning, and I am in a wooded area which hopefully is going to give me some shelter from the freezing winds that are blowing at the moment. It is really cold. We've not had any significant snow where I live, but this morning we've had quite a bit of what do you call it, sleet, is it? Yeah, quite a bit of sleet, and it is proper cold, hence the hat and all the layers and the scarf. And I'm going to put some gloves on in a minute. I bought gloves for me today, so hopefully I'll be able to keep warm enough. So as I said in my previous video, this time of year it's pretty difficult to photograph in woodland because everywhere's so bare, and there's no foliage, there's no nothing really. And if you don't have good light, that makes it even more difficult, and we don't have good light. It's very overcast and grey, and we also have some pretty savage winds, which means everything's moving, so that makes it even more difficult. So you're probably wondering, what the hell are you doing there then? Well, you know me, I'll try anything once. Anyway, I think I may have found a composition, a small grouping of trees with some nice rooty looking vines wrapped around them, covered in moss. There's a few messy looking sticks and twigs in the foreground on the floor, which I might just go over and clear away, but other than that I think it looks quite promising. So what I'll do is I'll set the camera up on the tripod and see what it looks like on the camera. Okay, so I'm just going to talk you through what I've got going on here with this composition. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trees. There's another one kind of in the background, but you can't really see it that well. And they're all sort of grouped together. And what I might do with this image is crop it sort of where that third line is there, and then maybe bring it in at the sides. Just to tighten it in a bit. I could break out the long lens and do it that way. In fact, I think I might just do that actually, instead of being lazy. Okay, so I've got the long lens on now. I was being a bit lazy there, wasn't I? So switch the camera back on, and let's see how this image looks. Ah, that looks much better. I haven't even zoomed in or anything. I haven't even touched the lens and it looks better. Just zoom it in a little bit more. Angle it down slightly so I get a little bit of foreground in. So what I'm going to do in terms of focusing is I'm going to focus on the tree nearest to me. I'm at f11. I might actually just close the aperture down to f16 so that I can maximise sharpness. I don't want to do focus stacking and all that rubbish. We've got some wind, so that the small sort of wispy branches and little bits of ivy on the tree will probably be moving, so wouldn't be any point doing that anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in on the tree nearest to me, like so, and then dial in the focus, making sure it's absolutely pin sharp. There we go. All there remains to do now is switch the 2-second timer on and take the image. So I've got the 2-second timer on. I'm going to underexpose by a whole stop. The wind has dropped. And there we go. And let me just double check this for focus. Not in focus. So the problem I've got here, I just checked that image and it wasn't sharp. But the problem I've got is that the tree itself, well, all of them are moving ever so slightly in the wind. So the only way I'm going to be able to rectify that situation by increasing my shutter speed. Now, there are a number of ways we can do that. We can either, first of all, first thing I can do is open my aperture up to something like f5.6. That still doesn't really give me a very fast shutter speed. So the next thing we can do is increase the ISO. So if I go up to ISO 200, now I've got 1/25 of a second. Just double check my focus. Yeah, that's okay. So let's try that. Now let's zoom in to the tree nearest to me and see if the image is sharp. Now that's much better. That's much sharper. So I'm going to take another one for a look. Actually no, I'm going to wait because the wind's picking up. You see that, look? See how the wind's moving everything around, look. And those trees, because they're quite sort of spindly, that's making them move all the way down to the base of the tree. Hopefully that image will come out all right. Now that I've speeded up the shutter speed, hopefully it'll be okay. I'll show it you now. Okay, so my next image is another small grouping of trees with some nice roots and stuff going on. Just to the right of me here I've got a small sapling with some wispy sort of branches coming over the top, but I've zoomed in so that they're out of the frame at the top. But again, we're having to deal with quite high winds. Which is causing some problems with shutter speed, etc. So again, I'm opening up my aperture to f5. Now this creates a number of problems because we've got movement in the trees, and what I'm trying to get over here is how to deal with situations where you've got high winds and you're trying to photograph trees. And there are some things you're just not going to be able to do anything about, like if you've got small branches or leaves that are moving, even with a really fast shutter speed, you're going to struggle to get those sharp. But here what I'm dealing with is that the entire tree is swaying ever so slightly. It's not very much, but it's enough to make the image blurry if you're not careful. So by opening up my aperture to f5 and focusing on the tree nearest to me, I can now have a shutter speed of 1/125th of a second, which is pretty fast. But in order to do that, I've also had to boost up my ISO to 500. So you're kind of creating a whole set of new problems there. First of all, there's the issue of noise in your image, digital sensor noise in your image. Now this camera is good up to about ISO 600. After that, you start to notice a tiny little bit of noise, especially in your backgrounds. I mean, as you know, if you watch my channel on a regular basis, I usually shoot at ISO 50. Now another problem that is created by opening up your aperture is that you're decreasing the depth of field. So the trees in the background are not going to be very sharp. And there really isn't a way around that unless I focus stack. But then with moving trees, you can't really do that. So the best you can do is crank your ISO, open up your aperture and increase your shutter speed that way, so at least the trees nearest to you are going to be nice and sharp. And I'll show you this image now. Right, I'm going to end the video there. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope there were some useful tips there for you. If you are out and about shooting in really windy conditions, maybe using these techniques and similar types of settings will help you get sharper images. Anyway, thank you for joining me. I hope you liked the video. Please leave a like, please subscribe if you haven't done already, and definitely leave